Are you having trouble deciding which cruise line to choose? Well, today we're taking a look at the popular cruise lines and their categories and comparing them with some of the hotels around the world that you're most familiar with. So stay tuned. My guest today is Lynn Johnson, owner and founder of Neptune Travel LLC. Lynn has been in travel for the last 30 plus years and enjoys meeting the needs of her clients in and around Virginia and across the nation. Hi, Lynn. Welcome to RTE Travel Talk.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for having me today.
Great to have you with us. So, Lynn, you're new to Real Travel Experts and RTE Travel Talk. So, I was wondering a little bit. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Why did you get into travel, and how long have you been in travel?
Well, I've actually been in for a while. I've been in about 30
Oh my
years and
goodness.
I've done, I drink lots of water. It helps. It helps keep me young. So I've actually started in the corporate side of travel, worked for a corporate agency and kind of grew from there into the leisure market. I found that was more my
Right
niche.
on.
I enjoy working with customers and clients and creating dreams and developing those dreams
Yep.
and living vicariously through their travel dreams as well. It yeah.
you're
So
you're you're
you know,
you're stealing my lines here because that,
sorry.
that's my line. I love to live vicariously through the adventures of all the wonderful people I get to interview on this channel.
We could sell every destination in the world.
Yep.
We just can't always get to go to every destination. And we have the opportunity through our education and the people we get to know and experiences at conferences to expand our knowledge. And that's why, if I haven't been there, I enjoy hearing so much as well from when the clients return from their trips. Because
Now, one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you today is you sent me a note there a couple of weeks
Mhm.
back with a really novel way of defining different levels of cruise lines.
Yes.
And that I found it really really interesting because we talk a lot about cruises on this channel. So why don't we dive into a little bit about what your theory is in relation to cruises and how they're kind of like hotels?
Absolutely. When choosing a cruise line, it's important to kind of consider the vibe, the
Yep.
focus, the size, of course, what interests the clients have. And, it's kind of like picking a hotel, and different cruise lines cater to those different types of travelers. And, of course, so do hotels. And I've learned this way of doing it, and I kind of use it the same way with shopping, shopping in hotels, and
Yep.
kind of related all to the cruise industry. I
Wow.
use it often to help consult with my clients and making sure they have the right fit. Many clients come to us with, I want to take XYZ cruise. And when you ask, why are you choosing that? Or how did you choose that? Sometimes it's because my neighbor did. My
Yep.
neighbor had such a good time. And it's
Yep.
just because somebody else did it doesn't mean it's the right fit for them. So it's always good to work with the agent, me, to help you find that best fit and experience for what they're looking for.
That really makes a lot of sense because people that are new to cruising, they really
Hmm.
don't know the nuances between the different cruise lines. So why don't we dive
Right.
into that? Like, who compares to what?
Exactly. For instance, I always like to look at Carnival Cruise Line and compare it to maybe your Holiday Inn or your Courtyard by Marriott.
Okay.
There's a lot of great hotel chains out there. Everything from the value oriented product and experiences to something like Princess Cruises and a more refined experience, a premier experience, similar to the Marriott and hotel brands. So every brand has different levels and value of cost to meet those people with needs, just like Disney. They have, and that's why ages ago they built the value properties to bring the people onto Disney property versus people spending the money on the outside hotels. So it's the same concept with the cruise lines. And this, every cruise line kind of has a sister company too, and those meet the needs of the value and the budget and experiences the clients look for.
It's really an interesting comparison. So, Princess is more along the lines of a Marriott or a Hyatt, right?
Right.
Yep.
So it's a premier
Yep.
experience. It's not
Yep.
quite
Right.
your luxury level,
Yep.
but it is a refined level.
Right on. And Carnival, as an example, is Holiday Inn or the lower brand Marriott Courtyard.
Correct.
Oh,
Yes. But it still has fun.
yep.
It has excitement for everybody and offers that value for the more budget conscience.
Now, as you mentioned, cruise lines today, there's many different cruise lines under one parent company. For example, if we take the Royal Caribbean Group, well, the Royal Caribbean Group has Royal Caribbean, which everybody's
Right.
familiar with, Celebrity Cruises, and now Silver
Yes.
Sea. So there's a lot of diversity within brands. So how does that match up, Lynn?
What I look at for the client is finding the right needs. Is it the entertainment? Is it the size of the ship? What experiences are they looking for, to the small ships to medium? I also discuss them, like if they're wanting a more refined experience or a different value, then of course we may not want the giant ships. Even every cruise line has multiple size ships. So even within one cruise line, not every ship is meant for those families or the couple who's traveling.
Do you find it varies with age, Lynn? Like younger people
Um,
gravitate towards the carnivals, and older folks want maybe a little bit more luxurious experience, or what's been your experience over the years?
that's a tough statement. I'd like to say yes and no,
Yeah,
but also got to watch, how I present it. I remember from years past, like the average Carnival cruiser is that mid 50s and 60s, but it's also somebody who's very Vegas oriented, somebody who enjoys that neon, but also the constant go of action is the best way to say it. I've done Carnival, I've done Royal Caribbean. I mean, I've sailed a lot of cruise lines,
yeah,
and there's always that right fit to finding for the customer. But to say, the age of one cruise line, no. But yes, when you go to the luxury level, because somebody, for instance, a Royal Caribbean ship that's a 9 or 10 night sailing that sails Canada, New England, yes, you're going to get an older crowd.
yeah,
You're going to get somebody who can take that amount of time off for vacation, where you're going to find those 3 and 4 and 7 night sailings out of Florida appeals to a little more of that middle age and younger
yeah.
crowd. But there are people who go multi generations, and the cruise lines have developed that and created that atmosphere to bring in those multi generations, family reunions, and groups, to something for everybody on these cruise lines. Yes.
I would tend to think, like it's been said over the years, that Carnival are kind of like the party boats.
They've had that image for many moons ago,
Yeah,
and the fun ships, they still kind of go with the fun ships, and
yeah,
but that's where the policies and procedures came
yeah.
out, and you can't cruise without your parents. It's got to be 21 and older. If they're under 21, they got to have somebody 25 on the sailing. So there's a lot of policies and procedures in place to
Yeah.
control that. I've seen it myself.
Yeah, so exactly. So if Carnival is where you want to go, you basically, I think what you're trying to say is you shouldn't listen to some of these
Correct.
urban legends that you hear about them. Like you're going to go
Right.
on Carnival and have a great time. Yeah,
Exactly. And if you are on Carnival, where the expectation is that fun or party
yeah,
is what some images people have of that,
yeah,
there's always a place to go for that quiet. So there's always a place to escape,
exactly. Yeah.
and not be in that atmosphere.
Our first cruise was on our honeymoon. Well, it was a few years ago. We'll just leave it at that. I had said to Deb, I said, she said, let's go on a cruise. I said, well, you're not getting me on a boat with 3,000 people because I don't like crowds. And
Hmm.
that was the biggest awakening for me when we got there. Yeah, if you wanted to find the crowd in the party, you could find it.
Right.
But if you wanted to be absolutely alone and walk the promenade deck late at night, you could find that too. It was fantastic.
Years ago, when I got in the industry, it's kind of seemed like people who've cruised for the first time, it was those honeymooners. It was a travel
Yep.
experience that not everybody tried to just do on vacation. It has changed
Yeah.
so much between the destinations the cruise lines travel to the experiences they offer on board, to the excursions that are offered, private islands. You're finding more and more younger travelers who are financially able to book these vacations. They're not all expensive. There's a budget for everybody, there's an experience for everybody. And the entertainment, for instance, like Royal Caribbean has become an entertainment cruise line. I mean, the experiences they offer can't be touched, almost, with the Broadway shows. and
Yeah.
and I just recently sold a cruise to somebody, and I was just I personally know them. And I was chit-chatting, and I found the daughter who's in her 20s is also going. And I said, this ship that you're considering, yes, it's driving distance, but expectations was huge. And when I found out they were expecting the large ship experience,
Right.
and they were getting a smaller one in the same cruise line, their assumption immediately was every ship was going to have what they wanted. And I'm glad I spoke up and said, I don't think this is the place you want to go. Let's get you another ship.
That's an excellent point. As you know, when we think of Royal Caribbean, I like to think of the Oasis class ships as like theme
Right.
park ships. There's all
Yep.
kinds of activities, 26 or 27 restaurants on board, and there's no shortage of something to do on any given evening.
Yes.
Now, not all of their ships are of the same size. So
Correct.
you're not going to have the same experience. But that's why having the services of an expert travel advisor such as yourself is crucial.
Exactly. You can't just assume one is the same.
Yeah.
And then as well as making sure the destination in the ship is the right fit.
We started cruising about 20 years ago now. The industry's seen a lot of changes over the years. Do you think people are trending more towards the luxury experience now?
I think it's a mix. I find myself, I'm at that age I could go either way,
Right.
but when I've sailed on silver seas, it was a experience I enjoyed. I didn't have to worry about the over-ending entertainment. It was just enough experience with the lounges and the music and the clientele. I guess it depends on what somebody is around and what they're used to. And I was always that one to be at the pool on the days at sea because of the music and the games and the activities. I find I gravitate now to the spa pool because it's quiet.
Yep.
So I'm kind of gravitating towards more of that quieter side myself now, but it's that right fit of destination too with the ship and the cruise line, of course.
So if I'm new to cruising and I'm looking for the luxury experience and I'm used to the hotels, how do the likes of a Seabourn and a Silver Sea compared to what hotels would they be comparable to?
Silver Sea, Seabourn, like a Park Hyatt. So it's going to be like your JW Marriott. So it's kind of that step above for those experiences and that age group, that bracket.
Right on, right on. Regent Seven Seas is another luxury line. How does it stack up?
It's kind of that cruise line that everything is already included. It's your luxury market that you don't have to worry about anything else. And that's where your 5-star hotels come in, your Four Seasons, your Ritz-Carlton experiences. And now Ritz-Carlton even has their own yachts. So, they stepped into that luxury cruise market too. So that's an equal comparison to present in that aspect.
Yeah. We spoke a little bit about Celebrity Princess, and I don't think we touched on Holland, but they're all kind of in that same venue when it comes to cruise line class. But where do they fit in?
So Holland America is actually part of that Princess. It's a sister cruise line, but they're very equal to products that they offer. And a lot of people don't realize it all falls under that Carnival Corporation. Again, we're looking at your Andaz hotels, and there's always these little nuances that kind of separates it. Holland American Princess hit the same market in Alaska. They're sister companies. Like, what makes them special? And why would you take one over the other? And
I kind of think with Holland America, and you can tell me whether you agree with me. Now, Holland America kind of offers you more of a classic cruise experience. Yes. Would you agree with that?
I find when a client likes Holland, they're very loyal to Holland America. They like the ships. They like the suite categories. Looking at the history of Holland America, I think kind of brings in a different clientele too. It's a different experience, and it's kind of that cusp of that white glove service, and their staff, I feel, puts it a little bit above.
As you mentioned, for want of a better word, little niche cruise lines now. They're not exactly little. There's Viking Ocean now. Oceania is extremely popular. Another one that we don't think about a lot, but has a loyal following and is extremely popular for transatlantics is Cunard.
But the history of Cunard and like the Queen Mary and white glove and handing that champagne to you coming on board and having that transatlantic experience, Cunard had that British feel. It was that British luxury. And, if you're going to do the transatlantic, that was the image that people wanted. Now more cruise lines are doing it, but this is that British luxury feel to it.
There may be other cruise lines trying to emulate it, but but when it comes to that particular standard and that vibe, they can't hold a candle to Cunard.
No.
Yeah, but again, it's an acquired taste.
Exactly. So, would I put somebody who's a Royal Caribbean on a Cunard? Not necessarily, but a Cunard person could easily take a Royal Caribbean. To me, it's that wow factor.
Yeah.
And that's where we want to make sure no matter what we book for someone, they get that wow factor for what they're looking for.
And that comes down to a good, solid conversation between you and your potential guest, right?
That's consulting and talking it over. Yeah. The industry today and the media today and everything is texting and emailing. And while that's quick and people are afraid to hold a physical conversation, it's important to talk over the phone, because that's the proper consulting and not misconstrued communication via a text or an email.
Plus the fact that not just a conversation, but a conversation with the right person. Folks can, can want to do the DIY stuff and they call up the cruise line. But if you're talking to the cruise line, you're talking to a well-intentioned agent, but that's all he has to sell. It's his job to put passengers on his ship, not to look after what the needs and the expectations of the person that's on the other end of the line. And that's the difference between what you do and a call center.
Yes. For me, it's 101. Like, I want to find out, I don't put somebody in a cabin where I wouldn't put myself. It's important to work with someone you develop a little bit of a relationship with.
Well, this is absolutely fantastic information, Lynn. Is there any final tips before we sign off?
Thanks, Ken, for this experience and opportunity again. The key, again, is aligning the expectations with the right cruise line, considering the budget, experience they desire, the size of the ship, passengers that they're traveling with, the destination's important. We just want to ensure everybody has the right fit and fantastic and memorable experiences in cruise.
And Lynn, if folks wanted to reach out to you about a possible cruise or resort vacation, what's the best way to do that?
So they can always reach out via email, my website, or my personal cell phone number is 610-349-4247, which is listed right at the bottom of that ticker. I'm also on Facebook, so there's avenues that they can reach me no matter what.
Perfect. Now, as I mentioned at the top of the show, you're stealing my lines here. But as I said earlier, one of my favorite things about this job is I get to live vicariously through the travels of all of the wonderful people I get to interview on this show. So I have to know, where are you off to next?
I'm actually booked on a cruise in a couple of months. So
super. Where are you sailing to?
I am doing a Western Caribbean.
Royal Caribbean?
Yes, good guess. I am a diamond status member. I go where the experience is. I love it all.
Fantastic. Well, the Western Caribbean cruise sounds great. You mentioned that you're diamond status with Royal Caribbean. We'll have to have you back sometime to talk about the loyalty programs. How does that sound?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Perfect. Well, that sounds great. Well, with that,
thanks,
Lynn, I'm just going to wish you safe and happy travels and all your future cruises and destinations. Thanks. May the wind always be at your back. And I hope to see you on the Lido deck of Royal Caribbean sometime soon.
Thank you so much, Ken. I appreciate this opportunity.
Take care.
You too.
And that about wraps it up for today, folks. A very special thanks to my guest, Lynn Johnson of Neptune Travel LLC. If you'd like to reach Lynn, I will leave her contact information in the description. If you'd like to reach us with a question or a suggestion for a future video, you can send a question to questions@realtravelexperts.com, visit our website, realtravelexperts.com, or simply leave a comment. We always respond. And as always, folks, if you enjoy this content, a like, subscribe, share, and a ring of the bell is certainly appreciated and helps us to spread the word. So until next time, happy travels.